Hello again. I'm guessing that not a single person watching this video seriously expected Labour's supposedly tough policy of deporting a few asylum seekers and exchanging them with France for other asylum seekers to have any effect whatsoever on the situation in the English Channel. Nobody in their senses would have thought that such a scheme would act to reduce the number of men heading across the Channel to this country from France, or to deter anybody in the slightest from embarking upon that journey. It has, however, started to fail even more swiftly than I had guessed would be the case. So far, we have deported 42 of these characters and taken 23 from France as replacements. In other words, we have 19 fewer illegal immigrants as a result of the scheme. Hoorah! But wait a moment. In that same time that the whole thing has been running, 11,000 more illegal immigrants have crossed the Channel in small boats, so we're not really up on the deal at all. And now, to cap it all, one of those 42 whom we hoofed out of the country has returned on board another small boat. This really is the stuff of comedy programmes and would have made a good basis for an episode of Yes Minister or the thick of it. We are, it seems, going to throw him out again, whereupon he will doubtless try and sneak back here once more. Of course, the flood of asylum seekers to Europe itself is slowing down due to the exceedingly tough measures that other countries are taking to deter them. Boats are being pushed away from shores and back into the Mediterranean, land borders are being reinforced, and those who do manage to enter a country illegally face immediate deportation if found. There is no question of housing them or providing benefits. Arrivals in Europe are 50% down on what they were in 2023 because asylum seekers are now getting the message. Whereas in this country, the numbers are soaring. Why do you suppose that is? Why do you suppose the numbers are rocketing upward here but going down in Europe? Well, for one thing, of course, we give them council houses. A fifth of social housing in this country, that is to say properties owned by the local authority or housing association, is occupied by foreigners. And that is to say the head of the household was born overseas. This amounts to 910,000 properties in total. One quite sees the attraction for rootless drifters, those without a home of their own who are wandering the world. The only slight difficulty is, of course, that we have a terrible housing crisis in Britain, and there are at the moment around 1.25 million people on the waiting lists for council houses and housing association properties. Just think, had we not been so keen to hand over almost 1 million such properties to foreigners, then we would be able to house three-quarters of the desperate people on those waiting lists immediately. Why we thought that it was more important to house hundreds of thousands of foreigners here rather than give those homes to our own people is something of a mystery to me.